So today I'm going to be giving advice to the young players who are considered sort of slower players in their team. Now, obviously, me growing up, I was a slow player. I can't lie. I was not quick at all, but I still managed to get by. I still managed to basically be one of the first names on the team sheet, and yeah, basically just get the approval of all my teammates saying, okay, yeah, JT needs to start. He's a good player type thing. So yeah, I'm gonna just show you how little tips, little things you need to focus on, because obviously, not being as quick, you don't get to not being as quick, you can't really get away with certain things. So yeah, you have to sort of move more intelligent. You have to move. You can't move the same way as the guy who's got 99 pace and all of that. You have to sort of move differently. Use your brain a lot more. So I'm gonna teach you today how just little things, little tips and tricks, and how you can still be an effective player whilst not having the most pace. So the first point is an emphasis on a good first touch. You have to have a good first touch, and you have to take different types of touches compared to your other teammates who you would consider quick, basically. So yeah, as a slow player, you don't really have the luxury to have a bad first touch. Your touch can't be going 2 yards in front of you and then you're chasing it, because obviously in a foot race against the other player who's quicker than you, they're obviously gonna go get it. Whereas the fast guy on your team, he has the luxury to take that heavy first touch that goes 2 yards in front of him, but he has the pace to run after it. So, but yeah, you as a slow player, you do not have that luxury. So you have to make sure you have an emphasis on having a clean first touch. Make sure that ball basically sticks to you every time. Every time you get it, every time you receive it, make sure it sticks to you basically. And yeah, so like, and what I mean by different types of touches is that Mbappe can beat a man, but so can Bernardo Silva. But their touches are very different. They're very different. Mbappe can sort of just get the ball, sort of kick it 5 yards, and he can run. However, Bernardo Silva has to be a lot more strategic with it. He has to use angles. He has to use his body type of thing. He has to, let's say he's gone past the player. Let's say he's gone past the player like this. He can't just keep going in the same straight line, or he's gonna get caught. So he's gonna have to cut across people, use different angles, like I said, use different angles, use his body, inside the foot, outside the foot. You're just gonna have to be more intelligent about it. You can't just kick it and just keep going in a linear straight line. He's gonna have to cut across, try draw fouls. Eden Hazard was very good at this. He was the most fouled player in the Prem, you guys know. So because he used his body, he used the angles, make sure he got in front of the man, make sure he was in a position. You know that position where what's it called? He cuts across the player, and all the other player can do is foul him. He can't get the ball. He either has to foul him or just let him go, type of thing. So yeah, that's so yeah. Just as a slow player, you're gonna have to make sure your first touch sticks to you. It can't be bouncing off your foot. Nah, it has to be clean. Has to stick to your foot, and also you have to use angles, use your body, use different type of touches. Make sure it's going to be more close control as opposed to kick the ball. It's more explosive like Mbappe type. You know what I'm saying? As well as this, regarding the first touch, you're probably going to have to add extra emphasis in a lot of situations, basically. So what I'm talking about is, Cruyff turns, opening up the hips, basically just these little ways of decepting your opponent, so you can so you have more space and more time to basically do what you need to do. So obviously, just use, like I said, just use the art of deception, basically. Let's say you open up, let's say the ball's coming there, um, you open up, making the defender think you're gonna pass that way, and then you just cut back in like this, a little touch back inside, or a little cross back inside. Just those little touches, just to deceive your opponent, so you can actually have more time on the ball, so you have more space, more time on the ball to look around. Let's say you need to dribble, and you have that. When you need to dribble and you have more space, it's less likely that your opponent's gonna catch you, because obviously you have more space, you have more time to make a decision, and the game's just gonna be easier for you. So yeah, that's another point. Use the art of deception with your touches, little Cruyffs, little turns, little drop of the shoulders. Even when you're coming to receive the ball, you come, change of direction, just little things, just to give yourself more time on the ball, more space on the pitch, and yeah, just making it easier for yourself to make decisions without having to hurry. Now the next point is that it's important to use off-ball movement. Like I remember and I did this a lot, to be fair, growing up, movement off the ball all the time, basically. So I remember growing up, when we were playing football in like school matches and like team games as well, people always assumed I was fast. Like, so anytime we did any sort of like athletics training or sort of racist type of thing, and I wasn't really one of the fastest, everyone was like, "Oh, Jaden, I thought you were quicker than this. Like what's going on?" And to be fair, the thing is, I wasn't quick. It's just that my off-ball movement made it seem like I was quick. this is the reason for this is because think about it. When you're playing a 1-2 or when you're passing and you're moving it, the defenders are sleeping. They're not tracking your runs. So you what's it called? The defenders are sort of sleeping. They're ball watching. They're not tracking your runs. So you just have all that time to just run into the space. Let's say you play a little 1-2 and the defender hasn't tracked you. You have all that space and time basically. So yeah, really just use off ball movement to your advantage. Also, even little 1-2s, little give and goes. Third man runs. A guy like Iniesta was so good at this at Barcelona. He would just it would always be like he just pass and move, and it was like he was gliding on the pitch. No one could catch him, no one could stop him, and he'd always have that end product, whether it's him scoring a goal, him supplying an assist, wherever you like. It was always like he was just gliding because it was literally just 1-2s, little third man runs. That's what you can use to your advantage as a slower player. You don't really have to necessarily take someone on the dribble all the time because obviously you don't really have that acceleration, that burst to really get away from your player. Now, obviously, in certain situations you can. I'm not saying you can't take anyone on one-on-one. You're just gonna have to, what's it called? Just gonna have to sort of use deception. Like I said again, use little touches, use your body to get past a player. But the easiest way, in my opinion, just off ball movement, little 1-2s, give and goes, literally, because like I said, the defenders are ball watching. So if you just play a 1-2 with your guy, you can just drive into that space. Literally just breeze into that space. Now you have time to look around, pick your head up, find your options. So yeah, that's the next point. Off ball movement, crucial. Furthermore, off ball movement allows you to have space and time on the ball basically. So this is good. So you don't have to sort of get into battles, having to use your athleticism, because obviously if that happens, the other player is going to come out on top. Because like we've established, if you're watching this, you're probably not the quickest player, probably not the strongest player either. So it just limits the amount of joules you have to get into on the ball. It limits the amount of times you have to probably use your pace in certain situations to get to the ball or try to take someone on 1v1. Off ball movement, just finding space. For example, a guy like Toni Kroos, this guy, when he's playing football, this guy seems like he has all the time at all. He has hours on the ball. But that's literally just because of his movement. He just checks, find the space, receive it from the centre back or receive it from the fullback, and then he has time to pick his head up, find guys like Vinicius, Rodrigo. Yeah, it was crazy. That guy, he always seemed like he had so much time on the ball. No one was ever pressing him. And obviously, he used deception as well. He was really good at sort of opening up his body and then cutting back the other way, or just using little deceptive touches. So what's it called? To deceive his opponents. So yeah, that's off ball movement is crucial. Just gives you that space, that time to pick your head up, make decisions, and yeah, help your team basically. So the next thing I want to talk about is varying your speed and your change of direction, basically. So for example, I'm pretty sure when Man City played Real Madrid, I think it was the year Man City won the Champions League. Bernardo Silva was literally tearing Camavinga apart. Literally, even though Camavinga was quicker than him, stronger than him, it's literally because Bernardo Silva he was what's it called? He was just changing, just varying his speed. He was going slow for a little bit, then he'd accelerate, or then he changed direction. Camavinga, the thing is, Camavinga was getting beat because a lot of quick players, they always want to try anticipate, use their pace, and try sort of rush in and anticipate and sort of dive in sort of much. So anytime Camavinga would try dive in, Bernardo Silva would just sort of change speed, change direction, and that's how we got it past him every time um, during those two legs. So yeah, what's it called? As a slow player, you can use the fast player's momentum in your favor, basically, because obviously if he's coming at you 100 miles, most fast players, they want to come at you 100 miles an hour. You just sort of change direction or vary your speed, just get out of the way. It's almost what's it called? And they're coming at you 100 miles an hour. It's hard for them to stop. Like it's hard for them to stop, change direction, to either go right, left, or backwards. So yeah, literally just use their momentum against them. A guy who's good at this is Busquets. Like if you watch his highlights, this guy, it's almost like he's walking with the ball. He's not even walking. It's like he's not even accelerating past the player. His opponent is accelerating past him. Because literally the opponent will come at him literally 100 miles an hour, and he will just turn like this, or he'll turn that way, and you just see the player literally flying, going miles behind him, and he could just step in and just walk, just seem like he's walking through the pitch and be able to find passes, find Iniesta, find Messi, all these guys. So yeah, literally as a slow player, just changes of speed, changes direction could help you because you could literally use the fast players' momentum against them basically. Like I said, if they're coming at you 100 miles an hour, but you have a good sense of changing direction, changing up your speeds in 1v1 situations. Because obviously in 1v1 situations, you're not going to be able to just go hit a step over and then just burst away. You're gonna have to, come at him slow, and then when he dives in, bang, that's when you change speed, that's when you change direction. Yeah, just use fast players momentum against them, and that's how you succeed basically. And then my last point to young guys who would consider themselves slow players is literally just to keep working on your speed. Like, you may not ever be Alphonso Davies, you may not ever be Mbappe, but you can still focus and improve on your speed. It's only going to make you a better player. Because obviously, let's say you really put the hours in trying to improve your speed, trying to doing stuff like box jumps, sprint training, in the gym you're doing things like RDLs or what's it called, or trap bar deadlift, just Bulgarian split squats, just things to improve your athleticism, your explosiveness. Because you've been slow before, you probably worked on the technicals and your match intelligence. So once your speed catches up to your match intelligence and your technicals, you're literally just gonna accelerate past all your other teammates, all your other opponents, and literally, yeah, once you get to those ages of, like, let's say you're a young guy now, you're like 12, 13, and you're not the fastest, but you're a good technical player, you've got good match intelligence, but you're just not really fast. Trust me, once you start growing, if you work on your speed, once you start growing and you get and your athleticism catches up, you're gonna be miles better than everyone around you basically. And then that's where the separator comes in. Because obviously all these guys, when they're young, they've been relying on their speed, their pace to get them out of certain situations. But at a certain age, you have to you have to use your brain more. You have to use your brain and work on the technicals. Maybe there's a guy in your team, he's the fastest in the team, but all he really does is just kick it down the line and runs. That works for him in, like I said, under 10s, 11s, 12s. But once he gets to like under 16s, it's gonna be, and he's doing that every single time. It's gonna be so predictable. The centre back is either gonna just slide in and intercept, or the fullback, let's say he's a winger, the fullback is just gonna drop off 5 yards because he knows that guy on your team wants to kick it line, and go every time. But it's not gonna work as you get older. So as a slow player, just continue to work on your speed, continue to get as fast as possible. Because obviously, as you get older and your speed improves and it catches up to the level of your technical ability and your IQ, trust me, that's the separator. Now you're a complete player. Now you're going to be dominating basically. So that's my advice to young guys who would consider themselves slow footballers, and how to still be effective on the pitch. I hope you enjoyed the vid. I've been JT, and I'm out.